I often equate learning how to do your first real sleight of hand with cards, sort of like the Normandy invasion. You know, of course, during the Normandy invasion, the Allied troops wanted to march on Germany, but they didn't really have a chance to worry about that when they were landing on the beach. That day, it was all about getting the beachhead together, getting set up camp on the coast without getting blown back into the ocean. And that's sort of what it's like when you first start to learn how to perform card magic for an audience. Because, yeah, you want to amaze them and you want to be able to do a great show and you want all that to happen. But when you're first getting started out, there's so many things required to create the conditions for magic to happen. At first, really, most of us are like those Allied troops landing on the beach. We're just trying to survive and make it through the first few moments of the magic show without getting blown off the beach. And there's a lot of ways you can get blown off the beach. You can not know how to present your trick so no one knows what you're talking about. You can forget to say your name or introduce yourself or just get everyone off to the wrong foot, on the wrong foot. And one of my favorite ways to freak people out is by handling the cards in such a way that just forces them to challenge you. Because at the end of the day, audiences are like animals. They smell fear. And the way we handle the cards can create that confidence or take it away, just like the way we present ourselves without the cards. So, last week we spoke about how to spread the cards in such a way that you disarm the audience and foster a magical atmosphere, as the Spanish would say. This week, I want to talk to you for just a few moments about how to riffle the cards. Now, that's often a way we use to have a card selected. We say stop. But a lot of times I see magicians who are talented guys who can do a lot of things fairly well, but they still haven't got the hang of just a nice, soft, natural riffle that disarms the audience and doesn't seem to be some strange move. Because if you can't riffle the cards well, it really looks like you're doing something, you know? As opposed to if I just say to you, hey, go ahead, say stop. I've got to look comfortable doing that. I have to look soft and natural doing that in order for that to work. So let's take a few moments right now and talk about some things to think about when you're learning how to riffle the cards. Start with the deck in dealing position, or in that neutral grip that I talk about with the cards slanting slightly to the right since it's so natural and comfortable. Remember, the first finger is in front of the deck. The left thumb's on the side. We've got our fingertips sticking just slightly above the right side of the pack. Now, from this situation, you want to relax. Now, you don't want to let the cards bevel down steeply, but what you do want to do is relax the right fingers and let that bevel be contoured to the position of your left thumb along the side of the deck. That means relax into the cards a little bit and let that thumb lie there on the edge of the cards. Now, what that will do is sort of let the cards bevel, but sort of along this angle. Because the thumb is controlling that bevel, you're going to have the back end of the cards more or less square, normal, and then the front edge of the cards are going to be beveled off to the right. And that's a good thing. That's going to allow you, once you're in that position, to sort of apply pressure with the third and fourth fingers of the right hand against the base of the thumb, but that allows you to not only maintain the position square of the back cards, but maintain that beveled position of the cards at the front end. Now you lay your thumb right here, and you want to try, you don't just want to run your thumb down the cards, you want to try and contact the cards with this portion of the thumb right here. And you want to keep that kind of constant. And what you want to do is you want to run your thumb down the cards. Normally people learn with their first finger lightly curled on the bottom of the deck. You don't really want to lay into it, but just lightly curled there to apply some upward pressure. And as you riffle down, you want to maintain the bevel of the cards. One of the big mistakes that a lot of students make, and I've seen it more times than I'd care to admit, is as they riffle down, they lose this relationship and the cards tend to square up because they squeeze with perhaps the left second finger or just apply an inward pressure with these cards. And what that does is it collapses that bevel, which is facilitating the riffle. So pay very close attention to moving your left thumb down and out around those cards to be riffled so it doesn't actually do the job of pressing in on them and making the riffle even harder to accomplish. Just keep it nice and slow and steady and attempt to contact each and every card on the way down as you riffle down the pack. Now, I often, actually, just yesterday, I had a student who was attempting to do a riffle with a fourth finger break. And while I might be doing okay in this particular demonstration, I think you'll find when you're just learning, it's very, very difficult to hide that break at the front and have that first finger underneath when you're doing the riffle. So I would suggest, especially if you want to have a fourth finger break, or even if you want to ever consider having a fourth finger break, you want to let that thumb, not the thumb, the first finger curl on the, not curl, sorry, on the underside. You want to bring it up to the front, and you want to let the base of that first finger contact the cards from below. So now you can apply that same light upward pressure, but you can keep the cards covered, keep the break covered, and execute a nice, soft riffle for someone to say stop, and all sorts of selection procedures without creating any undue tension and without making people feel like you're really up to something. One more note on the left thumb riffle. When you're watching me perform it, you may have noticed that sometimes it seems like I hardly bevel the cards at all. Well, that's because I've been doing this a very long time. You'll find as you master this concept, you naturally, once you really get the hang of giving a good, solid left thumb riffle that leaves no cards out and seems to evenly slide off each and every card and create that really pleasing riffle energy, once you begin to create that, you'll find that the bevel may sometimes not be necessary at all for you. But you should by no means attempt to skip this bevel and go right to that before you've learned how to do the riffle. It'll make it very difficult for you to get a firm purchase on those cards and really learn the energy of the riffle. Also, not only should you not let the bevel get too small, you should take care not to let it get too gigantically large. If you do that, you're going to have a very hard time keeping the left thumb able to extend out far enough to run over the edges of the cards comfortably and have an even, solid riffle. So once again, not enough bevel, problem, too much bevel, problem. Keep it right down the middle. Really work to find that exact happy medium, and then look for that bevel to naturally diminish in its own due course over time without very much help from you.